results, and then we'll.
All right. How are we doing?
What's up, bud? Doing all right?
Tony, how are we?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Yeah, good. All right.
Everybody have a good weekend?
Reasonable. Yeah, reasonable.
Yeah. Practice a little bit. Need to, like Q4 just around the corner.
I played 2 IVC A games, one on Saturday, which I won, and then one on Sunday, which I pretty much sucked at. But yeah.
Well, yeah, you, me both, Tony. We're in that small little pack in the hunt for that next automatic spot on Team GB.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're a little bit closer to Mark and Jeff. I think they're about 55 points ahead of you. Me, I think I'm still another 200 behind you, so I think I need to podium personally to make the team. But I think a good showing from you and a mediocre one from either of them two, you might leapfrog them. So be back on the team.
Well,
no offense to
them.
Let's just knock them out and
try
make them go 0-2 in bracket, and then y'all just win.
Yeah. Well, I got my hopes up a little bit earlier today when I was checking the registration. I'd seen that Jeff's name wasn't there yet, so I was like, "Oh, he's played it risky a bit." So
I don't know. It's still early days. Look at Mr. Chivers. He signs up on his way up.
Yeah, but I know he'll be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be anybody on the day. It's just, you just got to bring it.
Yeah.
For sure, man. For sure. I'm hoping to get a good. I'd love to get a podium finish. I need one.
Yeah. Well,
I can't podium in the ACL. I can't and the ACO, and then not podium in the UKCL, man. Like, I got to get it together.
Yeah, but you say that, but a lot of the time you play to who you're playing against.
Yeah.
You could play a game where
But I also podiumed in doubles where I had someone to carry me.
Well, that's true. And that was someone real strong. That's the thing.
Twice.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I had one ACO pro carry me, and then I had two ACO pro really carry me. I mean, Kim to get first and Liam to get second. And then I had an ACL pro carry me in the blind to get second in that. So
I don't know. Well, we just got to keep trying, and it's that consistency. Once you've got that consistency, it's there. But you get those nerves get you. Your adrenaline pumps. You throw them off the back of the board. You rail them. And you're thinking, "What am I doing here?" This isn't how I normally play, but it's how it gets you sometimes. You just got to calm those nerves and get in there and do what you need to.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you've got a new club now, sort of thing.
Well, we've moved Coventry. Because where we were, they weren't really willing to let us expand. They were only giving us one court, so you couldn't really advertise very much, because if you got more people in, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So I did some looking around, and I found this place in Coleshill, and the community in Coleshill are very much like the community in Ashby, in that people are actually going out and doing things and trying different things. Whereas when you're in a big city, people, they go to work, they come home, they stay in their houses, they don't really go out. So we've had more people in 3 weeks than we've had in 2 years of Coventry. So
that's awesome though. Good for you guys.
No,
we're aiming to get another Ashby. That's what we're aiming to get.
Nice. Yeah, it's weird because on the last episode of the Eurotrash Cornhole podcast, their Nomads episode, they talked to a few of the Americans that live out in Germany. I was actually originally approached to be on that episode, but with some technical difficulties, it just didn't kind of work out. But so they were talking about how living near these bases and the fact that there's still only, a handful of Americans that are playing. And, we live right down the road from the base, and we still, maybe eight Americans coming over from base. And it's a weird thing because they're like, almost all of them know about cornhole, probably most of them have all played, but for whatever reason, man, and I don't know if it's because it's on a Tuesday night, like you said, people get home from work, do dinner, things like that, and they kind of don't want to go back out. But then I've also watched badminton courts be packed to the brim on a Tuesday night.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's a weird one, man. It really is.
Once you get people into it though and get that, feel for it and the competitiveness of it, I think that's when it starts building, because then you just want more. You get that, I need to do better next week. I need to, and so you got to go next week.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're just in your backyard throwing bags with your mates, having beers, it doesn't really matter. But when you're starting to actually compete against other people rather than just compete against your friends, you kind of you need to go out and do that practicing to get yourself better to compete.
So you say that, Tony. So I ask you, do you think that's true with everybody, or just with people like us who are naturally competitive anyway because we grew up playing sports, or we grew up doing, I mean, I don't know if what Graham does is actually playing darts, but throwing darts at a board. It's anything like cornhole, it's not good.
I'm not as good as I was.
But my point being
years
is,
ago.
do we think that's true with everybody, or just people that were competitive anyway?
Yeah, I'd probably agree with you. It's people that are competitive anyway, because as sad as it is, the generation that we have now sit at consoles and converse on consoles, and so the competitiveness is actually just sitting there playing a game against other people across the world, really, and trying to get people out from their homes to go and actually do something, I think is where the hard work now is. You've got to. This isn't something where you can just sit there and pick up and put down. You actually have to get off your butt, go somewhere, and play it and do something, which is the same as every other sport, badminton, tennis, and cricket or whatever, but it's getting
Pickleball.
people out there. And I know that, a lot of these places struggle. Even I've got a sensei that is one of my customers, and he says he struggles now with the younger generation to get them to go to the dojo and actually do something,
Huh. Yeah, I mean, it's a weird one. I think COVID kind of I think we were already kind of heading in a direction like that, but I think COVID really was the catalyst. Like, hey,
Absolutely.
you're not allowed to go anywhere, so you better figure out something that you don't have to. I got a friend of mine, man. I grew up with her, and their whole family was big into soccer and all this, and like all of them played sports, and all of them were competitive, and all this, and like her son is on the high school like esports team, and like they're good, like really good, right? In the state of Oklahoma. But it's like a weird one, man, that it's just weird to think how much further like that esports thing has came, and how I think a lot of that, it was going that way. We know with World of Warcraft, and we know with all these RPG games on computers, people have been doing it for 2-3 decades, 2.5 decades, we'll say. But I think when 2020 happened and COVID happened, man, people stopped going anywhere. But then you take some people that weren't gamers, and that's how they became ACL pros. I literally talked to Dean Norton when he was here for the UK Open last summer, and he's like, I never played. I saw it on TV or whatever. COVID happened. I was off work, and for a week straight, from the time I got up until the time I went to bed, man, I just threw bags. Stuff like that. And it's so you get those guys that's what they've been doing. But yeah, I think in this country for sure. But I also noticed, and this is no slight on you too, man. I love you guys, and I love living here in England. But I think that's one of the biggest differences between England and the U.S. People in England, man, aren't really all that willing to try new shit.
No.
Like
We
they're
don't like
just
change.
not, man. If it's not football, rugby, cricket, or darts, dude, I don't want no part of it.
Which I don't get. The amount of sports that like so social that are big in this country because you're having a beer. Come cornhole, have a beer while you're throwing bags. And yet some of them don't want to do it. Like, I tried, man, for God knows how long to get a club going in Crewe, and it just didn't happen for me, unfortunately.
It is difficult. It's difficult to start off from ground roots and try and get something together and get people starting to come. And you're chucking an investment in there and hoping for the best.
Yeah.
The way I looked at it to start with is that I need to practice somewhere, so I may as well go and hire a court out. But if I'm hiring a court out, I may as well advertise and get other people along to come along.
So you're not just throwing against nobody, or
or me and John.
Just you and John,
yeah. And we've said that when we're in Coventry that it's kind of the same group of 5 or 6 of us were there, and you're playing just the same people each week, and you need that, like we've got in Ashby, where you've sort of 26 people turning up. You've got a mini tournament every week, and that's what really sharpens.
How far is the drive for you to Ashby?
It's about 30 minutes.
See, I think you guys have it the best, man, because you get 2 nights of practice because you can set up a night.
Absolutely.
You and then go to Ashby because it's so close.
And I think your new one's actually a bit closer for me. So
it is.
Hopefully, I'll be able to make it down like on a Wednesday night sometime.
I mean, we're right against the M6 there at Cosel. So, it's
Well, I'm 5 minutes from the M6, so it's just there. I'll just keep going straight.
But yeah, we need more clubs. That's the top and bottom of it. That until we start getting more people involved and it starts to accelerate, it's not going to happen. But once you get more clubs and you've got people that are sort of 30 minutes, 45 minutes away, people will do that journey to get an extra night's training in.
Okay. So
and I think schools is where we're starting with Mark Pallett there, and the club that we've got at Cosel is next to a 6th form school. So once we've got it established, I'm then going to go and see the head of sports at that school and say, look, this is what we're going on next door. If any of your 6th formers are interested, or if you want us to bring some boards along and give you a demo, we can hopefully get that school involved, and then try and
don't forget what young Charlotte's out there doing.
Absolutely. I've sent her 3 sets of bags up there for her to start with. I'm going to build her a practice board, the narrow practice board, get her that sent up there, so she's got things that she can use and utilize to try and grow that club.
Awesome. All right, so we're
absolutely
talking
fantastic.
About we're talking about getting more clubs in the youth motion movement and stuff like that. I'm gonna put you on the spot here, Tony, and you can not answer if you don't want to. I know you're not one to hold back, but if Tony is running the league, if Tony is the owner of the league and running the league, what are you doing to improve it, to help it grow? And I don't mean it like it's not good now. It's with anything, there's things that can be tweaked. So when I say to make it good, I mean to help it grow, to make it more accessible, all that. What is Tony doing?
That's a difficult one because, I mean, the guys in Ashby, they spend a lot of time putting meetings together to try and make it better. And I do feel that next season is going to be better again than it was this season. I think that they are looking to that improvement. I mean, the guys there have got good business heads on them. And you've got to run it as a business because everything runs as a business, or else it doesn't run. Promoting it is just so difficult because at the minute we've got limited numbers. I do feel that if we can, I don't know how feasible it is, more events is what we need more than anything else. 4 in a year, as we've all said, and everybody's saying it, but if you're not the guy at the roots of it and thinking, how am I going to cover this? Every month, if you did 12 in a year, it's that kind of thing. And I know that they're looking for sponsors for the UKCL, not for Ashby, but for UKCL. And I think that's the way forward, is if we can get some good backers to invest in the sport, I think that is the way forward to get more events done, because you can then cover the cost of an event if somebody's running that cost for you. I think that's definitely our way forward.
So when we hosted back in February, I spoke with Ben and we were talking about it, and we were talking about the prize pool and how, we don't really have one right now because they're still trying to cover costs from buying out the company and all these things. Now, I didn't mean like, hey, we need 100% payout, but I definitely think like you want people to pay and you want people to come to these events. They need to know that they have a chance at winning something.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying there.
On the
Even if
flip
it's just
side
the
of
fuel
that,
money.
on the flip
It's not
side of
cost you
that,
anything for the weekend.
I will pay just in entry fees for the 2025 calendar year. I'm going to go with, I'm probably going to pay close to $1,000 in entry fees. So, let's say $750 because I've taken a couple off my schedule. I don't know if I'll put how many I'm putting back on. I will pay a couple grand in travel costs, hotels, all these things. I've literally won a total of like 135 pounds. So I love the sport. You love the sport. You love the sport, Graham. Like, I don't see a problem in having a tournament every month. And I get what you're saying, cover cost. But that happens when you get people there, right? If you're charging 20 pounds to entry fee, 50 people pay, it's 1,000 pounds. You get a sports hall for, 400 or 500. You can still, that's covering that cost. I get traveling, but traveling's going to happen no matter what. Because that was one of the things Ben said to me too. He's like, well, we all had to pay for our own travel down here. And I'm like, and I've got to pay for my own travel every time I go to Ashby. But, if you think you can win a little bit of money back or whatever. But again, like I said, I don't look at 20 pounds a month to go play in a tournament to be that much.
No, I think it's too cheap.
I'll spend 20 pounds like on a couple beers, dude. Beers where I live are like £7 each. 3 beers, man. I'm 20 pounds deep.
Well, it costs me £20 every time I step on the ice to train with my team. We have to pay that every week that we train, and then we're having to top that up. Sometimes they do a £5 month where we have to put an extra £5 in just to cover the cost because the ice costs are going up. I think maybe next season maybe we should look at the entry fees going up to try and create more of a pool, that funds can come from. I don't know the ins and outs of the cost of everything and everything else, but I do know, these guys. I know they want it to succeed and they want it to know.
I don't doubt that.
For sure.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not doubting that at all. I don't know if for a single event entry, dude, I don't know if it needs to be more than 20 pounds. And I think if you raise it, I think then you're going to do the opposite of what you're trying to do. You're going to push people further away.
Okay.
But
on the other side, if we look back before, when Dan was running it, God bless his soul, he did a cracking job of it. But he started off with a prize pool, and then sort of thought towards the end of the season, thought, hang on a minute, this isn't going to work. I can't cover that sort of cost. So, you could see for himself there that he was struggling to keep covering the costs of everything. I think the guy lost quite a bit of money doing it as well.
That first season, none of the tournaments we had were over 20 people.
That's true.
And
hey, but we still enjoyed them. They were fabulous.
And if you're only charging a tenner, that's 200 pounds, man. That's not even covering. That's not even coming close to cover everything. Now, with that being said, though, like I said, I think if you start raising entry fee for that single event, then it starts becoming anti what you're trying to do, because I still would do it because I don't mind, but I have a little bit of income. A lot of people don't, to where if they were like, hey, next season, man, we're going to host 8 tournaments, but they're all going to be 30 pound, 35 pound entry fees.
Yeah, I was thinking more 25, if it's just a $5 on top.
But even if it's 30, I'm going to go, all right, because I want to play. If we were in the States, you'd be paying twice that much because you'd be paying an entry fee 5 nights a week to play. If you're serious.
And you're probably traveling further as well, so your travel costs are more as well in the States.
No.
What I'm saying to you though is that extra fiver that could give you like £100 prize money for first, and
I agree.
a 50 or a 25 for the
No, I
second
agree.
and third, and that would cover obviously the cost of that. It's a difficult one. It's a balancing game, and we are just so in the baby stages of everything.
For sure. And I think
as
another
this
one of the
goes.
problems, one of the problems we have here as well, we've said this before, is the cost of renting a place to play is so much more here. And if you don't have the numbers paying, you can't. Because see, I think people would be more inclined if we could do 2-3 day events. Have a blind draw on a Friday night, have doubles or singles or whatever on a Saturday day, the swap Saturday night, and then doubles or singles on Sunday morning.
But in saying that, the price then goes up because you're talking accommodation and everything else. And again, like you were saying, people are going to think, "Whoa, hang on, I can't afford a whole weekend of."
Yeah, but you don't. I'm not saying you do the weekend ones. Maybe do the four weekend ones a year, but then do just a 1 day or 8, 6, 7 other times. But again, then still traveling. It's still you're right, and people, and I like Craig. Don't get me wrong, but Craig's argument is always the fact that he's got to travel down from Scotland.
Yeah, that's a long old way.
It is a long old way. But I look at that on the flip side, man. I've spent my whole adult life traveling, go back home to see people that always thought, well, you've traveled this far. Why don't you travel a little further? Why don't you travel? Why don't you come and see me more? And I'm like, because there's one of you, there's 4 of us.
Yeah.
Right. So I look at this the same way, and I get it. Craig and Byron and his wife, they all like to travel together, and they want to make a weekend out of it, and that's fine. But if we host in Scotland, 50 other people got to travel and find accommodation in Scotland rather than just the 3 that are coming down for one tournament.
Yeah, there's that. But on the other side, we don't see the guys from Cornwall either into any events.
Yeah, but I think that's on there. That's a choice they make.
But again, that's a long old haul for them, isn't it? The same sort of thing.
But they were happy enough to come up to
I suppose so.
Birmingham when Frank was there. I'm just saying, again, when you're only hosting 4, to me, that's just Josh's opinion. When you're only hosting 4 tournaments, there's no excuse why you're not traveling those weekends.
Well,
I get that work and family things happen.
Work and commitments can sometimes,
Yes, but that's the exception, that's the exception to the rule, not the rule. But because when you're only doing 4 and it's every couple months, it's not like I'm asking you to do this a lot. So the Cornwall guys not ever coming up here really kind of, I just don't understand it.
They're missing out on a great thing, to be honest.
Yeah. What's that?
Yeah. I said they're missing out on a great thing, to be honest.
I agree. But they
want to play cornhole. This is playing cornhole.
Yeah. Like I said, man, I just don't see I don't know. A lot of people don't like my opinion on this because I traveled, I've already been to Europe twice this year. I'm going again in 3 weeks. Then I'm going again in a month after that.
Well, as hockey parents, we've been up and down this country weekend after weekend, all the way up to Whitley Bay and back, just for the day for a game of hockey, just for an hour.
Yep.
Not a day's worth of cornhole.
And that's probably why our attitudes on it are different, man. I played baseball and I wrestled my whole life in school. And every weekend we were somewhere. You're traveling somewhere to go.
Yeah.
And all day, like wrestling tournaments, man. That's all day. You weigh in at 6 a.m, dude. You wrestle until 7, 8 o'clock at night. And then you drive home. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah. We'll see. I think next season will be interesting, to be honest.
For sure.
Especially with the way the numbers are going, and obviously with clubs getting more and more people in, and hoping that once we build these, these people speak to somebody else who's half an hour away, and then think, well, hang on a minute, we could. I mean, we've got 2 guys at Coventry. Ashby. They travel from Telford. That's probably an hour and a half, a 3-hour round trip, and they're there every week from when it starts to when it finishes. Yeah, and I should think at some point they're probably looking around in their own backyards, thinking, hey, maybe we could start a club here. So I'm hoping that's what will happen.
Yeah.
And we'll
But
expand
again,
that way.
it's about finding a venue, isn't it?
Oh, that's the toughest part. It really is.
We moved.
And then when you get a venue, I mean, in Stratford, Graham there, he set up. Sorry, Jeff. He set up a beginning of a cornhole club there, and we did probably 3, maybe 4 weeks, and then they said, "Oh, hang on a minute, we've got to do a health and safety assessment and a risk assessment to this, and shut it down." It's like, what? We don't want you here. It's crazy.
It is crazy because to me, badminton's far more dangerous.
Yeah, exactly.
You can hit me with a racket. I can get out of the way of your bag. I'm watching it come in.
Yeah. And you got guys flying off the court into your own court and everything else. And you think, oh, yeah, this is just madness.
But I mean, you think like we moved our location thinking it was going to help us. All it did is cost us more money. We don't get any more foot traffic because they're closed on it. And I don't even know if we knew this necessarily, but they're closed. They close at 4:00 on a Tuesday. So by the time we get there at 7:30, the only person in the building is the one person they still have working. So it's the same group of people.
So no one's going past, seeing it.
And we have a hard stop time now. Whereas before, it didn't matter if we went over because no one else was there but us. So now we have to be out by 10. We can't get in until 7:30. So it hasn't really helped us all that much.
Well, this is the only thing that we've got at Coleshill is that you can't get on the court until dead on 7, and then you've got to set up, and you've got to be off by 9:15 with all your equipment off. And that takes time out of your your playing time, if you like. We've got quite quick at it now, but it's there, and it is a little bit dearer. But I just feel that, and the guys, all the guys from Coventry agree that it's just the atmosphere. The people that run it are so helpful. I mean, the first one I turned up, I said, how many you've got booked on? They said, well, we had 2, but they cancelled because nobody else had booked it. Oh dear. And they said, we feel really bad. So I don't feel bad. That's the risk I took. So I went and set up on the court, and John and myself started throwing bags, and they sent everybody that walked through that door, whether they were going to the gym or squash or whatever, they had to come in and see us guys first, have a go at cornhole before they could go and do what they were doing. It was absolutely phenomenal.
Nice.
You couldn't ask for anything more.
Yeah.
But,
all right,
we've got somebody backing us, somebody who wants it.
Yeah, that's good. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Should we do Tony's deck around?
Yeah, why not? All right. So
I didn't even think about this, guy.
That's the point.
To be off the cuff.
How did you get into cornhole?
I got into cornhole. I was over in Michigan with my folks, and they said we were going to a beach for a barbecue and stuff. And they got these boards out. I'd seen them in their garage, but they got these boards out. What's this then? They told me. I was absolutely abysmal. Couldn't get one on the board. And I played for a little bit. I thought, oh, this looks quite good. Went back to their place, and I, for the next 2 weeks, I was, from when I got up to when I went to bed, I was throwing bags. And the guy, a friend of theirs that played on the beach, he came to a party just before we left. And I played him anyway. Boy, someone's been practicing. And I just got hooked. And I thought, I'm going to take this back to England. I could be able to make this into a sport, which was 3 weeks after Daniel Lilly had set up the UKCL. There we go. I'm glad he did, because I couldn't have done what he did.
Yeah.
So how long have you been playing?
So that was 2020. wasn't it? 21?
2022.
2022. Yeah, since 2022.
Yeah, so just before the first UK Open then.
Yeah, literally, yeah. That August I started playing and then went to the Open.
So your cornhole goals.
To do better. My cornhole goal really, I want to make GB again this year. I can't promise that I will. I'd like at least more than a third this year, but we'll see how that goes. That's my goal. And obviously to just make everybody else in the UK play cornhole.
Well, you got at that. I think we lost count of how many people you've helped play.
Oh, absolutely.
You've taught so many people to play. I think you're very instrumental in helping Ashby get to where they've got and bringing
Alistair calls me Coach Tony because as soon as I see someone new, I'm straight down there. Or if I see someone who's struggling, I'm straight in there and say, look, have a go at this. Try this. I might not be able to be good at it myself, but if you can't do it, teach.
Yeah. So, your highlight so far?
My highlight so far is definitely that third place, for sure. And also playing left-handed because one of my idiot mechanics chopped my finger off. But yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised your highlight wasn't sitting in the bar in Trier.
That's my Tony highlight.
Just very quickly. You're like this. Hey, who threw that beer mat?
Oh, I wish I had a couple.
Hey, this is the one. This is the one from the bar.
That's my Tony highlight, actually. Just you with that shot. All the Americans were just like that, like it was smelling salts, and you knocking it back like it was water.
Yeah,
I've got one for you, Graham.
That will forever be my Tony highlight.
or Tony teaching us how to draw a longbow.
Yeah,
without a bow.
So your favourite shot?
My favourite shot.
And we're not talking the one that you did into, yeah.
To be honest, I like a good old cut shot.
Yep. What bags you use? I think we should know this.
Man, the list is endless.
All right, what's your favorite set of bags right now? What are you throwing on Saturday?
Right now, I'm going to be throwing those swag bags, the Midland Auto Test swag bags. I've just bought some Lucky Bag Elites. I've got to break them in, but they're a nice bag. But I'm in the process at the moment. I'm just waiting for someone to sort me some printing on material to produce some Coventry-made bags.
Yeah.
Actually,
I know a company that could probably make you some custom sets that are ACL comp stamped.
I'm not necessarily looking for that. I'm looking to actually produce my own bag, literally in-house. I made a few. I don't even remember about a year or so back. I made some, but the materials weren't too good. But I've got some new materials, and I'm looking to producing some bags in-house from start to finish.
So, your favourite player?
Sublimate for you.
My favourite player has to be the Wizard.
The Wizard.
In that guy, we've been side by side from the moment I showed him what cornhole was, and he's just a great guy all round.
Yeah, I think it's unanimous that he's the nicest man in UK cornhole.
Without a shadow of a doubt, most selfless person you could ever meet.
He might be the nicest person in all of cornhole.
Yeah, he might be.
Yeah.
There's a very good chance.
And he's the only one that listens through and through on our podcast.
Absolutely. And I'm about to run out of power, but okay, go on.
Oh, right, we'll dart through these last three then. Your dream cornhole partner?
It's cliche as it is, John Wishart.
Yeah. Favorite thing about cornhole?
This just echoes through everything. I don't care who you are in cornhole. Everyone says exactly the same. It's just the community. It is just awesome.
And then lastly, outside of cornhole, other hobbies and interests.
Now then, this is where it gets a bit funny because my wife calls me a hobby collector. So I've done archery, paracart racing, which I smashed myself up doing that. Then I went into sailing. I've been doing ice hockey for the last 15 odd years, and cornhole.
Yeah.
Oh, and beekeeping.
Where's my honey then?
Yeah.
I'll bring you some next time. I'll get you some the weekend.
All right, Tony. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, hold on real quick. So we want to do, so in the ACL, they do a prop toss, and we're going to post this on our socials along with some other stuff this week. So please pay attention to that. Pass that out to all you guys. Tell them, start looking at the socials. But we'll give you a chance to fill that out. And there's going to be some questions that are for the prop toss. We're going to run a little contest for some Slicky or some Just Board It swag. But I am going to ask, who wins? Who wins this weekend?
Who wins this weekend?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be the German. Conrad.
Is he coming?
I believe so.
Oh,
he could screw it up for all of us because
I did not know that.
You ain't getting in there.
I didn't know Conrad was coming this weekend.
I'm pretty certain I saw something that he is.
No way.
You're checking the registration list now, aren't
you? I am.
I'm certain I saw something. I think it might have been on the European IVCA.
No, I don't see him on here yet.
His name's not there yet.
Okay, if he's not there, then I'd like it to be me, but personally, Alistair.
You say Alistair?
That guy is on fire. Absolutely on fire. That guy is. I try every Tuesday to beat him, but telling you.
You've stolen my answer. That's what I was going to go for. I was going to go for Ali to upset Liam this time because it's every week when they're sharing the results. I can't remember the last time somebody other than Alistair was holding that first place trophy.
You know, you try your hardest every week, and he's just got this way. He's just got this. Boom! Couldn't give a damn. Throw the bag, and he goes.
He did it last time out. He was king seat last time, so what's to say he can't do it again? If there's no Richard Blank or Conrad coming over,
all I'm going to say,
it's up to our boy Liam to upset him. I'd say that Alistair probably is slightly edging it.
Well, he got taught by the best, so I'm taking that.
Those who can't do, teach.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's Mr. Pallet.
All right, Tony. Thanks for coming on. Like I said, pay attention to the socials. We got some stuff that'll be on there tomorrow.
And don't forget, it's club night.
Just bought it.
Wednesday. Yeah.
This Wednesday. Yeah, we're at Coleshill. Anybody's welcome. Absolutely anybody.
All right, bud. We'll see you on Saturday.
Yeah.
You guys take it easy.
Cheers,
Thanks everyone for watching. Just bought it.
Cheers, bud.
Cheers.
All right. That was good.
Yeah.
It's always good. Tony's a good dude. I like having him on.
Yeah. He's very... Go on.
Alley, huh? Woo.
Yeah. I think he can do it. Like I said, he was king seat last time out, and I can't remember the last time he wasn't holding up that first place trophy on a Tuesday club night. He is just quite consistent down the middle.
Well, I guess I better hope I'm throwing real good this weekend.
I think my block game would have to be on point. Even then, I don't think it'd be good enough. I think he just pushed straight through. Just threw everything in the hole.
Yeah, possibly. All right.
Oh,
Should we get through some results for the weekend?
got some ACL stuff, yeah. So, do you want to start off with the signature or?
You want to start off with ACL Europe?
Yeah.
All right. We'll rip through these pretty quick. Obviously, they were in Slovakia this weekend for ACL Europe. And singles was broken out into two tiers. And again, man, this goes to show how much better the competition's getting in Europe, because even tier 2 was tough. There's some big, there were some big names in tier 2 as well. But the Roman Empire, man, Roman Elsner taking it down again. But Gavin Clark,
Young
kid, Army dude, man. He's a Slicky Baggers sponsored player. He had a great weekend. He got second place in singles. And EJ Von Dram, we all know EJ, another American military guy. He got third. In tier 2 singles, Andreas Meen out of Germany, Bitburg guy. As you well aware, we hung out with him.
Yep.
And Mark Himmler and them guys. Zdenka Spikova, she got second in tier 2. She had a good weekend. And then Eva Steinbach. Now, most people don't know who she is. I've been fortunate. I've played against her twice. Super lovely person. Very just deadpan, man. Like, I know she has emotions. I know that. I've seen her smile. I've seen her laugh. But when she plays, man, she's on it. And she had a really good weekend. If you look through the brackets, and I know not everybody's going to go do that, but she had some good matches, man. And I look for her to really kind of come along a lot this season, I hope.
Yeah.
In doubles, as you're aware, it's kind of hard to watch this weekend's ACL Open, the first signature, because they do a lot of broadcast. So we only got to watch about half of what we normally get to watch. And obviously, because we can't get ESPN over here, it makes it difficult. So I ended up watching a lot more of this Slovakian Open through the Facebook feed. And let me tell you how much fun it was to watch the third place match to get Chris and Gavin back into the finals to then double dip to win it. And Chris Barath and Gavin Clark. And, Chris he's a Air Force guy. He's over, or Air Force or Army? Army. Yeah, I think he's Army. But he's over here TDY until June, so he's playing with the German guys a lot. But then the surprise of the weekend, man, in doubles, Croatian team. And I'll give you their first names because I can't say the last names. It's just not a thing. I'll butcher most all of them anyway. But Natan and Dario. Now, we know that there's some really good players in Croatia.
Yeah.
I mean, you got two of the top females in all of Europe are Croatian, the Belic sisters. And, you have some other ones that are just lights out over there, right? These dudes came out of nowhere, man, and just had a heck of a day. And they played really well. And then, of course, in third, who else but Roman Elsner with David. And, they're both ACL pros this year. But, yeah, it was a good doubles, and it was fun to watch. The blind draw, Gavin Clark again. I mean, that dude had a really successful weekend. And his partner, Luca. And then second place, Chris, Chris Barth and Antonio Grabisa. So they had a good weekend. The swap, I can say these names in Aramis and Romas winning the swap, and Vladimir and Montes getting second. And I'm not 100% sure where those guys are from, but it just goes to show that, like, there's not, it's not just the Americans. It's not just the Germans. It's not just the guys that you've heard of, or, I know we've heard of them, but, you get my point. And, like, other people are winning too, man. So, yeah, it was a good weekend. Some changing in the ACL Europe standings. Unfortunately, since I didn't make it, I got, I dropped on out of the top 50 now. So I'll have to get out on my way back in for the in the Bitburg Open. But yeah, it was a good weekend of cornhole over in Slovakia.
Yeah. Looks like Gavin's pushing to get that pro jersey for next season. The way he's
actually, too. So the juniors was won by, and hold on, the name is escaping me, but if you remember, they are the ones from Budapest. And I did I interviewed his dad for his deck around when I was in Slovenia.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And his son was sitting there. So his son is the one that won juniors. Hold on. You want to get started on the ACL? I'm gonna find his name real quick.
Yeah. So signature one. So as you seen last week, we did our draft, so it was a lot more on the line, interesting in terms of just watching.
Bindi.
Yeah. So it's a little bit different watching compared to the Open because of how they did it. The brackets seemed a little bit more difficult to follow in some events.
Yeah.
They've been a stacked bracket where it's more, so you don't have like your ties for places. It's a straight first through to 32 or whatever, however many in the bracket. But then they were breaking down the brackets more to get it to the TV. So there's a little bit of different watch.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Speak. But then obviously it means that we miss out on the finals, like not able to watch them. But the results, so juniors, it was Tony Forbes over Gabriel Clausen there. Then in the junior doubles, it was Sammy Soto and Ryan Trater over Gabriel Clausen and Ethan Ferrius. And then the women's, the female goat, as she should now be called, I guess, Cheyenne, my first pick in the draft. So,
yep. Hey, but my female pick, Caitlin Allshouse.
She got there as well. She made Final Four, yeah.
But it was that Final Four was stacked. Caitlin Allshouse, Sam Finley, Sarah Cassidy.
To be fair, how Sam Finley's been throwing. When I'd seen the bracket winners and I'd seen that Cheyenne was up against Sam, and I was like, that's the toughest of the. Like, no disrespect to the others, but I felt like Sam Finley would be the toughest out of the three that she would have faced. But
yeah,
Cheyenne did Cheyenne things.
See, I think it would have been Caitlin. I think just because of throwing style, but yeah. No, it was good. It was good.
But yeah, Cheyenne beat Elizabeth Tennyson in the final there, and then female doubles, Cameron Belvin and Kaylee Hunter beat Rosie Streaker and Sam Finley. Then seniors, it finally paid off on me picking him in the prop toss. I might not have got him in the draft, but Damon Dennis.
Yep, I picked Steve Schroeder again, and he didn't even win.
Damon Dennis beat Passem. So, and then senior doubles, Donald Cup and Dan Shotland beat Terry Matheson Passem. And then the blind draw, it was Logan Chamberlain and Chris Kingsbury over Ty Lopez and Fisher Hamilton. And then the big ones, the singles and the doubles. So singles, your final four was Tony Smith versus Riker Wells, Gabriel Clausen versus Matt Guy. So Matt Guy showing that he's not
out of it yet.
No, he's still there. So, and then the final was Gabriel versus Tony, and Gabriel bloody battered him. I mean, I've not seen the game, I've only seen the score, but
yeah, I saw the score. It was pretty bad.
He must have been upset about not winning junior doubles, and he took it out on poor Tony Smith.
I up to that point, watching Tony Smith play, I'd also watched him take a lot of chances this weekend.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, not getting to watch the match sucks, because I feel like it was probably not indicative necessarily of just taking the beat down.
This is the thing with Brown Limited as well. I mean, we know, and we've seen Tony Smith take these shots and pull them off, but sometimes you have to try and manufacture these points in round limited, and sometimes it just doesn't work.
Yeah, they might have been coming up on, whatever round and him being like, ooh, I need to,
I need to
and then miss.
hit this bar as soap or whatever, and
and give up a big round.
So, and then the doubles, it was Mark Richards and Tony Smith versus Austin Kibble and Logan Dupler. And then the other side was Jamie Graham and Jacob Trzynski versus Sammy Soto and Gavin Conno. And then the four-peat, Mark and Tony did it again.
I don't know if there's a team out there that can beat them right now.
Yeah. I mean, I have seen some things online saying the greatest team ever is like, I don't want to admit to that yet. They probably are, but you need to look at what past teams have done. Eddie Grindersleeve and Caleb Batson, it was three nationals in a row, including the World Championship. That run still needs to be beat. I know it's 4 in a row, but 3 of them were just opens. The signatures are a bigger, more difficult field. There's the TV pressure. I think they hold more weight, and especially when you throw in a World Championship as well. So for me, it's still that Eddie Grindersleeve, Caleb Batson year with the 3 signatures, including the Worlds. That's what they need to beat. I think they need to win Worlds and another signature.
I think they definitely need to win Worlds, but I don't know. Sometimes I feel like the only thing that makes a signature harder than an open, because an open's going to have all your elites and stuff in there as well. So there's actually more player pool to be beat by.
Yeah.
But what makes the signature harder, in my opinion, is the fact that it gets broke up so much.
Yeah.
So you play up till your bracket final, and then you wait a day to then come back to the broadcast. So any momentum you were going into the finals with is now kind of been lost because it's 24
hours. You got to try and stay
later.
hot, yeah.
So I think that's where it becomes such an issue. And in that degree, I would agree with you that they need to win a couple signatures and then win the World Championship. And the trajectory they're on right now,
I mean, I think they'll do it. We've said this before.
I think it's going to happen, man.
They are going to win Worlds. I think they will. Like, if I could go down to Willie Mill and put money on it, I would. But I'd walk into there, I'd talk about Colorado, and they'd look at me funny.
I'm going to tell you right now, man. My dream match for Worlds Final is Trey and Adam versus Mark and Tony.
Be the champ, you got to beat the champ.
Dude, that would be such an awesome daggum final.
Yeah.
Such a good final. But anyway.
I mean, have we had team make it back-to-back World Championship finals? I mean, I know we've had multiple World Champions, but they've not gone back-to-back, have they? Jamie Graham had a few years in between his two. Trey had time in between his two.
Trey had 1 year in between his two.
Yeah, so it will be cool.
But Trey is also the only one to win it in singles and doubles in the same season.
Yeah.
And nothing is more entertaining to me than listening to Adam just go, boom! Everybody's like, it's awesome. All right, man. So that was singles, doubles. Nope, doubles. Yeah. What else we got?
Just what's going on this week.
All right. So let's talk. So, guys, I know some of y'all out there listen, some of y'all don't. If you are listening, please check our socials this week. Slicky Baggers, our sponsor, they are running a raffle, and they're going to run one probably once a month. It's going to be 15 entries. It's 10 Swiss francs to enter. We will post their PayPal information on our socials because they're going to do it as a contest/gift rather than selling it from the business. That way, if they ship to us, someone in the UK wins it, they don't have to pay import taxes and custom fees. Because if it's sent as a gift, you don't have to pay that. So that's what they're going to do. But with that being said, it's if you are interested in doing it, you're going to message the Slicky Bagger guys, see if there's still a slot available. Because like I said, it's the first 15 and then it's out. But if you win a set of bags. So, and then it's a random set of bags. So it's not like you don't get to pick. They're just going to pick, and it's going to be a random set of bags. Which,
well, they got some great bags.
Yeah, we've thrown with all their bags.
Yeah.
They're all good. They're all ACL comp stamps, so they're all approved for ACL events, and you know that they're good quality because they have that stamp, and it costs money to have that stamp. Not to say there ain't other quality bags out there. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is for a tenner, hey man, it might be worth the chance, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
But we'll post that on the socials starting tomorrow. We wanted to mention it tonight. What else? We had our first results back. Obviously, we just went through the ACL results for this weekend. So right now, in our fantasy league, I put you on top of the table with 18 points.
18 points, yeah.
And then what is it? It is
you and Liam on 16.
Me and Liam was 16.
Woody's on 10, and Micah is on 8. Yeah, but when you look at it, I think I had 3 people score, 3 of me picks score me points. So Cheyenne with the win, then Jamie Graham and Jacob Trzynski with a tie, and then Jackson Gore with a bracket win. But you had, I think, 5. So you had a more consistent team. It's just I had the higher point scoring results, luckily for me.
You got 8 from Cheyenne and 8 from Jamie and Jacob.
Yeah.
Whereas I got 8 from Tony, 2 from Gavin, 2 from LBJ and Logan Chamberlain, 2 from Caitlin Allshouse, and 2 from Ryan Trader.
Yeah. So you were the more consistent.
I had more picks up there. Whereas Liam, he got 16, but he only had Mark Richards and Tony Smith winning it,
12.
and then Elizabeth Tennyson.
Yeah.
And then Micah's only points was 8 for winning seniors, Damon Dennis.
Oh, that was his number 1 pick, and he did exactly what he said he would with picking it when he picked him. So, I mean, fair play to him.
Someone that I know is going to get me points week in and week out.
Yeah.
Yep. Good pick.
But the 2 guys, the guys who had the 4th and 5th picks in the draft, sitting 1 and 2. The beauty of the snake draft.
It is kind of unfair, though, because we probably do watch and pay attention more than anybody.
I think Liam probably watches about the same as us, so.
Yeah. Micah, I think Micah's probably started watching a lot more recently as well. I think Woody just likes to gamble and play.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with that, man.
Yeah.
I still play fantasy football in a couple leagues every year, and I don't watch near as much being here in the UK, but I still pay my money and I still play.
Yeah. Well, no, it was good. It made it more interesting to watch, and even though I couldn't watch it, I was just there constantly like refreshing the score zone when we were down to like the final 4 or whatever to see the results of like what's going on? Like it's Shine's won. Like yes. All
right, and also let's tomorrow we'll get out our version of the prop toss.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you guys out there that's never done the prop toss, it's essentially 10 choices or 10 sections, as you will, and it'll be out of these players, who's going to have the highest PPR and singles bracket play. And you pick somebody, and if they get it, you win that point. If they don't.
So are we doing it like we pick 3 and then the field?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it's not going to be your Liams or your Daniel Lillies. That's not fun. That's too easy of a pick. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We could throw some easy questions in there, and then some more that are going to get people thinking.
Sure.
I mean,
anyway,
for one of the questions, like the DPR thing, that's not necessarily going to always be your Liam who's going to have the highest DPR over the day. There's some guys out who can play a really good dirty game and bring them better players that drag their scores down and then have that good DPR or whatever. So we'll make it interesting with what we put on the choices, definitely.
For sure. But we'll be playing for some swag. Maybe a just board it tumbler or just board it hat. Something like that. I'll have to think this week, but yeah. We'll see what happens.
Oh, check the socials, so we'll get that out this week ahead of Q4.
And the thing is, guys, if y'all don't want to listen to the whole podcast, and I understand that, that's fine. But if we're going to preach community, man, why not get involved and give this little contest a go, man? It's on the socials. Give it a go.
Yeah, definitely. We're doing what everybody else is wanting to do. We're trying to grow the sport in our little way we can by this and picking everybody up like we do, promoting everything like we do. We just love cornhole. We want to see more cornhole. We see the sport grow over here. So we're doing what we can. So you guys do what you can. That's why we've had Tony on today.
That's right.
He's helping grow the sport with his new club. So
hopefully,
let's do this.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, man. What else we got? Obviously, we got the qualifier 4 this weekend. So we got club night tomorrow night.
Club nights, get practicing ahead of it. So
Ashley's got club night tomorrow night. Yeah. Tony and his guys on Wednesday night.
Yeah, you guys Tuesday.
Who's on Thursday?
Be Newcastle.
Okay.
I know Solent already had their Sunday.
Yeah. What about Friday?
I'm not sure if we got a Manchester one this week. I don't think we do. If we have, I shall post about it tomorrow if it's changed, but I don't think there is one this week. Right. I think it's only me and Dan from Manchester who are actually making Q4 anyway, so I seen he's broken in his bags over on his washing line hanging out to dry ready. So
yeah, I saw that.
I'll be back to throw me trusty Vipers this one after I stupidly didn't throw them at Q3.
Yeah, I got some new bazookas swag bags coming in since my trusty bazookas are split, and they're not split, but I'm afraid to be in the middle of a game with them and they blow up.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know how. I mean, I don't even know what I'd do at that point.
Yeah. Well, I think this could potentially be the last UKCL for me Vipers. Seems that we've had our mock up from Anthony for our flicky bags, and they look sick. As I knew he would, that man's worked some magic with his design.
Yep. No,
I can't wait to get my hands on them bags and throw them.
I'm happy with both of my designs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, but he had free reign as far as I was concerned. He didn't come to me for any ideas or anything. And what he's done is it's chef's kiss.
For sure.
So we appreciate what you're doing, Anthony. And
for sure.
Yeah.
I think he's just as excited to make them, man. He messaged me earlier today.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well.
Yeah. He's like a mad scientist.
That he is. He's mad for sure. All right. So you guys don't forget, Slicky Baggers, just B10 for 10% off. Really consider getting into their raffle, man.
Yeah.
It's a tenner, dude. It's a tenner for a chance to win some bags, man.
Yeah, I mean, you spend more than that on the night out and just go in the pub on the way home. So
Easy.
just go straight home. See your wife. Spend that tenner on a raffle ticket. You might win a decent set of bags.
For sure, man. And just keep watching our socials this week, man. A lot of information coming out this week.
Yeah, there'll be something pretty much every day this week, I think, leading up to Q4. So,
yep.
Keep your eyes open. Facebook, the Instagram, now on TikTok. But yet to do any silly TikTok dancing. Maybe if I beat you in the bragging rights, there might be some of that.
Not happening
from me, but we'll see.
Not happening.
Well, I was getting me practicing at the weekend with the kids, so.
Yeah, so.
I mean, they were thrown from 3 feet away, whereas I'm throwing from full distance, but.
I'm sending you over something.
Oh.
For the raffle. The info.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'll get that up tomorrow then.
Yeah. But you got anything else?
I think I'm good.
All right, well, I guess we'll see each other Saturday.
Yeah, that we will. Bright and early.
Yep. All right, well, for now, I'm Josh.
I'm Graham.
Just board it.
Just board it. Laters.
See you, bud.
Stop.